Hi, I'm Greta from Knitters and Critters coming at you with a special episode today focusing in on Exandria Unlimited Calamity. So, obviously, in this episode, we're going to be talking a lot about highlights and theories and all that good stuff. So, here's your mandatory spoiler warning. If you have not watched episode 2 yet of Exandria Unlimited Calamity, go and do that first and then come back here later. And by later, I mean much, much later because holy crap, this episode was almost 5 hours long. In the last recap I did for Excelsior episode 1 of Exandria Unlimited Calamity, I wondered how they were going to get everything done in only 3 more episodes. And then they went and dropped a 5-hour episode on all of us. So if we have another 2 5-hour episodes coming up, then I think they'll somehow manage to pull all the strings together. Because these episodes are so long, I really liked how, towards like the middle of the game, Dungeon Master Brennan Lee Mulligan kind of like did the list of everything you know so far, plus some threads that you may not have pulled yet. It was really, really useful, I think, for both the players and everybody watching because so much has happened in only, at that point, 1.5 episodes. So that little reminder, like checklist of all the things they need to still accomplish, was really, really hella useful. So good job. Tip of the cap to you, Dungeon Master Brennan. You obviously know what you're doing. Love it. But this episode kicked off with Laryn doing her thing. So we finally figure out what Laryn was doing. And like I kind of guessed in the last highlights video, she was trying to create some kind of engine to take her to a different plane. What I did not see coming is that she was designing something to take the whole city of Avalier somewhere else. I thought she was just going to be doing something to take her or maybe the Ring of Brass into a different plane, but no, she wants to take the whole city. And her thing was thinking, the only thing that separates us from the gods is that they have access to different resources and different planes. And so if we can get to those planes, then we'll all be the same. It's a kind of typical Age of Arcanum, cockiness that makes this game so much different than all of the other Critical Role campaigns. But I loved the scene. I love anytime you get to see a Bria Iyengar like do real character acting is always so good. And it works. And it was so cool, like the descriptions that they gave of her sending that little toy model into some other plane. I do worry that they didn't have a good way of determining which plane it got sent to. Maybe I missed that. If I missed that, please do put it in the comments because I'd like to know. That could be interesting. Another thing that came up during that segment was an issue coming out of the Arboreal Calyx, which is another, I'm not quite sure if it's an engine or a way of storing energy, but it's something to do with the deal that the original founders of Avalier struck with the druids who I believe owned the land that Avalier once sat upon. And these druids said, sure, you can take the top of this mountain, but we're going to be putting this tree here called the Tree of Names. And we're not going to tell you why, but you have to protect it with your lives. And so they do. And then about 120 years ago, the Raven Queen ascended from being a mortal individual to godhood. And the druids came back to the city founders and said, oh, we need to update the deal. Not only do you have to protect the Tree of Names at all costs, but we're going to be building this whole engine thing around it called the Arboreal Calyx. And when Laryn activated her engine, there was like a power suck. And the Arboreal Calyx kind of activated and took in more energy than it's strictly supposed to. So what the heck is up with that? I mean, it seems to me anyway that just like the timing is very fishy. So is the Arboreal Calyx there to prevent anyone else from doing what the Raven Queen did? Is that why it's storing up energy kind of in anticipation that something is going to happen. There's going to be a backlash and it's going to stop either Vespin Chloris from ascending to godhood or Laryn from activating her machine to its fullest potential and taking Avalier to another plane. I don't know. And speaking of Vespin Chloris, during this episode, we did find out that he is well aware of the Tree of Names. And if he's aware of that, he's got to know about the Arboreal Calyx too. What does he have planned? As you may recall, I think it was Loquacious and Seret went to the Herald's Tome and kind of did like a public record search on Vespin Chloris. And they found basically Vespin having this conversation with Lycretia Hollow and Dolores talking about it. And was it Lycretia? I think there might have been one still with him and Lycretia and another still with him and that magister. That magistrate, I can't think of his name. The name just evaporated from my brain. Let me know in the comments. But yeah, so Vespin seems to have some contacts in the city. I mean, we knew that. We knew that he couldn't just be working alone. And Lycretia Hollow seemed like a pretty obvious choice for someone to be in cahoots with. Yeah, okay, evil guy is going to get in touch with the necromancers. Duh. Loris, ooh, you could see Marisha like squirming when she was listening to that. Like, no, Loris, you can't be evil. Of course he's evil. Some people. I guess we'll have to wait and see more about that. But again, what I was kind of saying is, what do y'all think Vespin has in mind for the Arboreal Calyx? Do you think this is how he's going to like bring the primordials and the betrayer gods out of their prison and back onto the material plane? I don't know. I don't know what he's got planned. Or is he just planning on using the energy of that to create his own little corner of godhood? I don't know. He's got something. We know he's got something planned. Hopefully we'll find out next episode. I hope they find out soon, though, because if they don't, they're not going to have enough time to make a plan and figure out how they're going to stop him. But something else that doesn't quite have to do with Vespin Chloris, it might, but it doesn't seem obvious now, is what is up with Evandrin. So we know Evandrin was Zerxus' husband. He theoretically died. I say theoretically because he like evaporated almost, like he just faded from existence. But this is Dungeons and Dragons. Weird shit happens to people sometimes. So is Evandrin really dead? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I also don't know what it is that everyone seems to be hiding from Zerxus regarding Evandrin, because it seems like they're all really tiptoeing around some certain information. And it's not just Zerxus who doesn't seem to know it. It also seems like Seret isn't in the know about all of this. I mean, you'll remember from this episode when Seret and Loquacious are at the Herald's Tome, there's this file folder of information that had Evandrin's name on it that's empty. And Loquacious just said, oh, things happen. We've got a lot of other B-roll of Evandrin. Maybe she just took this file with her. It's no big deal. But he had to do a deception roll. And it was a hell of a roll. So what are they all hiding? What are they all hiding from Zerxus? I mean, sure, part of it could just be like not wanting to bring Evandrin up too much because there's a lot of guilt there, and Zerxus is obviously still working through all of his grief. But if it was just that, why are they also hiding things from Seret? I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but I can't wait to find out. It's going to be good. It's just interesting that it's not just like Loquacious hiding things. It's also seems like it's Nidus and Laryn and Paisha. What are they up to? We gotta know. We'll find out soon. Speaking of Paisha, she and Laryn had a really awesome fight scene this go around. They went to the magisterium to try to speak with that magistrate. And of course, fight breaks out. It's the first like battle of this little mini series. And damn, they really had an awesome, bitches be witches kind of moment. And they just wasted this guy. It was really obviously it's always fun to see what new characters are capable of in a battle scenario. And they did not disappoint. Although I am kind of bummed that they didn't get a chance to really thoroughly question this guy. I think it could have answered a lot of questions regarding what is happening with Vespin Chloris and who else in the city he might be working with and what he is really trying to do. That's something we need to have answered quickly. And we just don't know at this point. Speaking of Paisha, oh my God. She learned from the Raven Queen. Like, holy crap. Dang. I want to know more about that. I'm sure it probably won't come up. I don't think they'll have time to really go into it, but so freaking cool. I mean, if you're going to have a teacher, make it the Raven Queen. That's just awesome. Another thing that happened in this episode was they split the party several times, and each time they did it, I had a mini heart attack. I understand why they did it. There's a lot that they needed to know, a lot that they needed to accomplish, and sometimes in a limited time frame. So it made sense for them to split the party. I just keep expecting the shit to hit the fan at any moment, and if it does, or when it does, I should say, and they're not all together, oh, this isn't gonna be good. So they split the party, obviously. Like I said, Paisha and Laryn went off to question the magistrate. Seret and Loquacious went to the newspaper, which left Zerxus and Nidus to go to the Hall of Prophecies to figure out why it's all closed. And they did not disappoint. I kind of guessed that there was going to be a battle scene between Paisha and Laryn when they went off to question the magistrate. So I was surprised when Brennan didn't save that scene for last. So I was like, oh, well, where is he going with this? Because it's got to be something interesting. And he's got to be like ending on a high note, because that's just the way, Critical Role works. And then they get to the Hall of Prophecies, and Nidus sweet talks his way in there the way only Nidus can. And they find out that the prophets have been going mad. And that's why. And Nidus, kind of goes off to do his own investigation while Zerxus goes in to question the original prophet who first had this vision that was decided to be false. And when he gets into her room, he sees this, I don't know if it's technically a portal. He sees something in the water there, and he passes through it, and he finds himself face to face with the Lord of the Hells. And it's like the same visage that he had in his own vision of this now, more reasonably sized creature dying, or at least grievously injured. And so Zerxus heals him. And they get to talking, and guys, is anyone else super worried about Zerxus? It really felt during this whole scene that the Lord of the Hells was kind of playing him like a violin. He takes on Evandrin's qualities. It doesn't quite look like Evandrin, but there's something really evocative about his appearance and how it changes to strongly remind Zerxus of Evandrin. And he said something like, oh, I just take the visage sometimes of someone that you love. It's just something that happens, and woe is me, people never trust me because of it, because if you can look like anybody, how can I be trusted, that kind of thing. And I was thinking to myself, no, it's not that you're looking like someone that Zerxus loves. You're looking like the person that it also hurts Zerxus the most to see. So it's just, the whole thing was like a cringe moment of Zerxus, you're being played right now. And they have such a moment between them. It was really beautifully played. And it just felt like Zerxus was gonna slowly start to become like the dead body that the guy that Seret killed, who was sworn himself in some kind of infernal language to whoever. I don't know if it was Vespin Chloris or if it was Lord of the Hells. We'll have to wait and see. But it feels like Zerxus might be courting that same issue, that his divine magic, which has no divine source, as we all know, might start to take a divine source in the form of the Lord of the Hells. Oh, I'm real worried about Zerxus. Hashtag sad boy might be having some problems here soon. But we're going to have to wait and see. In the next episode, we'll see. It's going to start out good. We know Laryn got the call from the person driving the ship, and that person seems to have met a pretty grisly end. So episode 3 is going to pick up, I'm assuming, with the fight for the city. And I can't wait. I hope you guys are as excited as I am. We'll be around. I'll be on Twitter on Thursday at Greta K. Kelly. I always post things to the Knitters and Critters Instagram account. And so does Claudia. So keep us apprised there. If you have any questions or comments or theories, please put them in the comments below. We really do like talking to you guys. And as always, please like and subscribe to our channel. It really helps us to keep the lights on here. Hope you're having a good week. Is it Thursday yet? Bye.